So welcome to our first town hall post to go live. Is everyone seeing my slides?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So welcome. Here's our agenda for today. We are going to go over a brief update of kind of where we are as a project team in the project. I'm going to do a brief overview of our support model. I know we talked about that a little bit in our last town hall, but just to make sure that everyone's aware of kind of how things work in the background when you submit a ticket. We're also going to go over the new Workday Watch, which hopefully you've gotten into your inbox, but we're going to go over some of the key pieces of this week's watch. And also a brief reminder about timesheet deadlines, since those are approaching. And then, of course, get into your questions, which is the most important part. So welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining. So quick update. We officially went live, as you know, on July 1, and overall the launch has been a great success. This milestone reflects incredible effort and collaboration across HR, IT, finance, payroll, and all of you as well. So everyone who's attended trainings and is trying to learn the new system, thank you for everyone who's come to those. And as with any major system change, we are encountering a number of kinks that we're ironing out. So we're actively working through those. There is still work being done to clean up supervisory organizations. So that's still underway, as well as tweaking security role access in the system for those that need it. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. We do have a cost manager update. So finance has reevaluated the internal controls around cost manager assignment. So we're going to allow for changes to that role assignment. So security and data control are going to reach out to some of our larger areas to work through those changes. But today we're going to touch on what's going well, what we're still fine-tuning, and what's coming next. So you've probably guessed that our support team has been pretty busy. So let's do a quick review of our support model so you know how things are working in the background. So here are some of the support resources that you have available to you. We have the Workday Watch, which I'm going to go over more in depth in just a moment, as well as peer support. So working with your colleagues, using some of the tools we have available. I'll talk more about that too in just a little bit. Accessing job aids on the web and quick reference guides, submitting tickets to our support portal, attending training and office hours, as well as using the Workday AI assistant within the platform. So variety of resources available to you. When you do submit one of those tickets into the support portal, here's a little bit how the structure works in the background. So those tickets do go to our level 1 triage first. And then if they need any advanced support, the ticket is then routed to our level 2 group, which includes some staff from HR, finance, procurement, those other project team members who can jump in and help. So that's what happens when you submit a ticket to help.workday.wm.edu. So this is the main spot to go for all of your Workday questions. This is where you can submit a ticket. You can include details. You can attach screenshots, and you can also view any tickets that you have outstanding. We also have contact information for our different offices if you have a question that is not Workday related, but you need to reach out to HR or payroll. Their information is right on this page as well. So key support concepts. If you have a question about benefits or W-4 questions, those types of questions, you're still going to want to send those to Ask HR or the office that you would typically contact for those, as long as they're non-Workday. But if they are Workday support questions, you want to make sure to use that portal first. So include as much information as you can, and the team is going to focus on the issues that are causing work stoppage with no workaround first. So just keep that in mind when you're submitting those tickets. And also the project email that I know we've talked a lot about over the last year, it's still active. You might even get an email from us. We use it to send some targeted communications to people regarding the project, but that email is really more for project logistics and not for support. So if you have a Workday support question, please send those to the portal and not the email account. All right, let's talk about the Workday Watch. Hopefully you all got this on Monday, and then the Friday before we sent one as well. So far we've had 2 of these go out. So the project team meets every morning, Monday through Friday at 8:15, and we talk through any of the support questions that are maybe frequently asked questions, or if we feel like there's a crosswalk or something that people are asking a lot about, we are going to put that in the watch so that we can send that out to everyone. So right now what we're doing is sending those out weekly. So it's basically a weekly roundup, weekly newsletter of our frequently asked questions. So as I said, the last one went out on Monday. We also keep an archive of these on the web, so I just want to show you where you can find them. So if you go to wm.edu/workday and scroll down to our recent activities, that's where you'll find the watch archive, as well as all of our past newsletters, news stories, all that's in the recent activities section. So if I go to Mondays, I can view the watch online. So this goes to all faculty, staff, and student employees. So you all should have gotten this to your inbox, but know that it lives here on the web if you need to refer back to it. But I want to just call out some key information because some of the questions were the portal. So first of all, updating your personal and contact information. This is particularly important for people who aren't signed up for direct deposit and who get a paper check. You want to make sure that your address is correct in the system so that your check is going to the right place. So it's good for all of us to just hop in there, review our personal information, review our and make sure it's correct. So there's a link to personal information. Security roles, this might be our top question that we're getting right now, but there's some really good information in the watch. This was also in the first issue as well. I think we're going to get it in the digest too, just to get it out there as much as possible. But if you need new access within Workday, then you can review the steps that are here for requesting access. There is a process for doing this. You do need to log into Workday. In the search bar, you type create request and then select Workday security access request from the dropdown and complete the form with all of the relevant details. So those steps are here in the watch. That's for requesting access. If you already have the security role that you need, but you're still having issues, then you're going to want to submit a ticket into the support portal. So that's a good chunk of information right there, especially if you're experiencing issues with security roles. I also want to call out that travel training is now available online. So those trainings have been really well attended. We know that not everyone has been able to attend them. So if you have not been able to get into one of those, you can watch the recording on the web. And LaDonna and her team have really been doing an amazing job with those. So thank you to everyone who has attended those. And you can also attend travel office hours as well, in addition to other types of office hours that are all on the Workday events calendar, which I'll show you more of in just a moment. Some other helpful reminders this week, remote work agreements are still in effect. So the ones that were done through DocuSign, if you have new employees starting, they'll do those through DocuSign until we're able to configure Workday's flexible work arrangement functionality. So that's coming soon. We'll put it in the watch when it's available. We also have updated cash advance procedures. So that information is here in the watch. We also have a job aid linked for how to submit a spend authorization. So please review those updated procedures and the steps for actually submitting a spend authorization. We also have added a document here titled Workday Resources that I can show you. We're realizing since we went live, we're getting a lot of feedback about training materials and trying to adapt to what people need. And so this document was created so that you could see a certain process in Workday and all of the training materials that you need to perform that action. So for example, we have timesheet processes. This is the job aid for entering your time. This is the video version of it. This is the virtual training for it. Requesting absences, approving time, viewing your team's absence calendar. So all of that is here in this PDF. You can save it, bookmark it, do whatever you want with it. We are also working on improving our training materials on the web. So we'll have a web version of this as well soon. But this is really helpful for the time being. You have probably also noticed that we turned on email alerts. So if you would like to customize your email alerts, there is a job aid in the watch for that as well. So, so you can use that job aid to customize what you see in your email. So I do want to show you the training calendar. So the Workday training calendar, it's training and office hours and William & Mary events. This is going to show you all of the events that we have coming up, from the town hall to different office hours to different trainings. And so we are continuing to build this. We have more coming. So as those trainings become available, they'll be added here in William & Mary events. We'll add them to the Workday Watch. We'll add them to the digest, and you'll be able to attend those. I think we have more accounting journals coming up, as well as some grants trainings that are going to be coming up. So, and there are others as well. So be on the lookout for that. And then Viva Engage, we featured that as well in the Workday Watch. Okay. So we'll go back to the PowerPoint. This is just a reminder of the different training resources that are available. So we have our launch website. That's where all of our job aids are stored, our micro-learning videos. You can also find those in-person sessions and office hours online, with more training becoming available soon. Viva Engage is where you can go for peer support. So you may have seen this in the watch, but this has now been turned on for all William & Mary employees in the left sidebar within Microsoft Teams. So you can click that Viva Engage icon. It's going to take you into Engage right there within Teams. You'll see there's various communities that you can join, but Workday is one of them. And so this is a place where you can, it facilitates peer support and knowledge sharing. So it's not an official support platform where you can go to ask a question and the support team is waiting to answer it, but your colleagues might have already found a workaround for something that you're trying to do. So it's a place to share knowledge. So when you put it all together, you have a lot of supports available. So you have self-service, job aids, trainings, and seminars. You have your peer support, whether you work with your colleagues or use Viva Engage. You can request help through the Workday community or by submitting a ticket or attending an office hours, and stay up to date by reading the Workday Watch and, of course, attending these town halls. As a reminder, this is a huge change for the whole campus, so we need to continue to support each other. No one is an expert at this yet, so please have patience. The team is working through everything as it comes in, so please give them grace and use your resources, especially those self-service resources first. Timesheets are due tomorrow by 6 p.m. and they need to be approved by Friday at 10 a.m. by supervisors. So again, we're working on those email alerts. Even though they're turned on, we're working on fine-tuning those. I know you used to get those web time entry deadline emails from HR and payroll. So we're working on the Workday equivalent of those so that you'll get those around the same time that you used to get those alerts. So I'm going to send one out this afternoon as a reminder while we still work on the Workday notifications. So this is a reminder for you now, but you'll also get an email later on today as well. And just a note to make sure that you are putting in your time and putting in your absences in the production tenant and not the preview tenant. So we have had some people submitting time and absence in WM7 or the preview tenant. So you want to make sure that you're in workday.wm.edu. All right, so we will get into the questions now. Let me just find the chat. All right. The Workday resources PDF was shared in the chat. Thank you, Andrew.
Don't thank me yet. I might have put in the wrong link.
Oh,
You win some, you lose some,
I know,
Crumb.
right?
It's all right.
I'm going to defer to Lauren then to put the right link in.
yeah, Lauren,
Maybe
will
I'll
you grab the
find them.
one, I think that was in the watch, maybe? Let's see. So I'm getting through all the link conversation.
There we go. Thanks, Lauren.
Dawn asks, is there a search option within Viva Engage across the various conversations? That's a great question. I haven't used that yet to see if I've had to search for anything. Has anyone else tried to do that in Viva Engage?
There is a search, upper left-hand corner.
Search
I
and
just put a
engage.
screenshot in there, Erin.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Demetria.
All right. Laura asks, can the email alerts be configured so you can tell the difference between an absence request and expense report needing approval?
Can you read that one more time? I was only half listening.
Yeah. Can the email alerts be configured so you can tell the difference between an absence request and an expense report needing approval?
I thought the subject helped inform that. I'll have to look to see what additional customization options occurred. Is it the subject that I mean, once you open it, it tells you what's in there. So is it the subject line?
Yeah, I think it is. A task awaits your approval. A task awaits you.
All right, we'll take that as homework and see if we can make that easier.
Yeah.
Good job for
Thank
keeping
you,
them
Lauren.
on. I turned them off.
Okay.
I'm just teasing.
So Karen wants to know if we are able to delegate timesheet approval.
You are to somebody who is an organizational peer, which means at the same level of the organization as you, or an organizational superior. So that's the decision that the project team made. We are revisiting that decision. We haven't made a change from that yet, but we're exploring that. And what that change would do is allow delegation to subordinates. The quirky thing about Workday that we're working around is that delegation setting is for everything in Workday. It's called a global setting. And so if we want to allow timesheet delegation to subordinates, it means any task that we allow delegation on could also be delegated to a subordinate. That just means we have to do some additional testing and looking and configuring. You know, there might be some finance tasks, business process in there that are not appropriate to be delegated to a subordinate. And so we're working through that right now. We'll communicate in the watch if we make a change. And for the record, I'm pushing for a change. And we just got to make sure that we make good choices.
All right. I imagine lots of other people have the same question as Colleen. Is there upcoming training planned for hiring student workers, or should we go to the HR office hours? So
Donna, you want to take that? Oh, Erin,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to throw it to Ghana, but I was going to say, yes, there's definitely training coming for hiring student workers. I don't know the dates off the top of my head. So Ghana, do you want to give an update on that?
I was going to pull up my calendar. I do believe it's August 5th and 6th. It will be coming out as an official publish soon and shortly. But yes, they are developing the training to be ready the first week of August.
And will student employment be doing office hours in addition to training?
Yes, we are finding that office hours is being well received. And so pretty much all the functional teams are following those, that step in that process. So they'll have a training and then they'll have online office hours after the training and they'll set those dates. And it is a 2-part series, just to let you know. So the date is because there's a part 1 and a part 2 for student training.
And Ghana, are those in person or virtual?
They will be virtual.
Okay. Do you know if we're going to record them?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So they'll be even more available to everyone once we have that.
Yes.
All right. Shannon asks, if I have a few managers in my office that need a security class, may I submit them with my own request?
Yes. So the role, provided you have the same supervisor. So typically supervisor should approve additional role assignments for any of their team members. So if you put a list of role, security requests in your request, it's going to go to your supervisor. I mean, that'll satisfy the change control process technically, but really, if you have a different manager, those should be routed to the manager for approval. So keep that in mind.
All right, good question from Pam. So Pam didn't see a job aid for deleting an absence request, so she gave it a try. What she has now is the original request and another entry with the hours as negative hours. Is this correct, or is there a way to delete the original request if it is being totally rescinded?
I don't know the answer to that. Any HR colleagues have looked at that? If not, we'll play around with that in our sandbox and see. I mean, it looks like it's going to calculate correctly. It just may look a little wonky on there because you have the hours and then you're reducing by those hours. So that may be as intended to document the activity. I just haven't played with that myself.
All right. So Eliza says it's difficult to determine whether my inability to find certain reports and data is because I don't have the security role or because the data has not been loaded into Workday yet or the report hasn't been created in Workday yet. Any tips on navigating that? I don't want to clog up the support ticket portal with simple questions like, does this report exist or not?
I think that's a great use case for Viva Engage. So I'll be honest with you, we are getting some tickets in like that, and we have to go research that ourselves. There's not a quick answer. With looking, we're trying to look at who's asking the question, what's the report, what are all the roles the person has versus what the report has versus have we even put data in there? And so it takes some time. When we do some of that collaboration and collecting information in Viva Engage across the user base, it actually helps us respond more quickly to requests because you guys are doing some of the troubleshooting for us in advance by, if you put a message out, post out in Viva Engage, hey, can anybody else get here? And I see 3 people who say yes, I'm going to focus on trying to solve that problem for you first versus if everybody's having the same experience, yeah, there's no data for me, there's no data for me, that tells us where to look first. So I think some of that user collaboration in Viva Engage would help you and help the team too.
All right, Monica says that she posted a position today. Can you please show us how to look for applicant?
I'm not going to do that in the town hall today here, Monica, but we'll point you to a job aid if we have that. And if not, we'll follow up with you one-on-one. I also think that's a great thing for the HR office hours to go through.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll walk through that for lots of folks. So see if you can plug into one of those. And actually, even if you can't, Team HR, I know you're on the call. Whomever is doing those office hours or gone, if you could get them the note, could you make sure you cover that? And we'll record the session. So that way, Monica, if it doesn't fit your calendar, you can go back and watch it after.
All right. Is there a by position list of what security leadership roles we should have or be requesting?
No, that doesn't exist. So we started with crosswalking the banner security to Workday. So if we thought you should have a role, we tried to already give it to you. So that's why I said that doesn't exist. Like that is what we started with our ground zero state based on what our understanding of the security roles was going to be as we were working through the project with Huron. So at this point, if you suspect you're missing something because you're unable to complete a task, then go ahead and request that, and we'll work with the IT security team. Will work with the subject matter experts in either finance or HR to help pick out what you're trying to do and the security roles to see if we need to give you something else or to see if there's something broken or not working as intended in configuration. But we tried to give you what we thought you needed when we started.
All right, Kitty has a budget question. She submitted a ticket, but her budget loads were visible last week and her expenses were correct and being updated live. It was great, but now I have no funds loaded and I'm missing expenses that I know that have been paid. Do you have any updates or news on this?
Kitty, what do you do? No, I'm just kidding. Do we have Spencer or Mike on the call that could take that? If not, I'm gonna have to go back and ask. I was very excited that we loaded budgets. I didn't know we unloaded them, so that might be late breaking information.
I can take that if they're not here. This is Debbie. I
Oh,
think
thanks,
that
Debbie.
I found some issues myself, and I think they had made some changes to the report, and we're just waiting for those to be updated again so we can see everything, because I'm in the same boat for some of the things, Kitty.
Thank you for bringing that. So we'll make sure we communicate when we get back there to the team, and that way you know to be looking again so you know what to expect when you try to do that.
Okay, and I'll reach out to Kitty to let you know directly once it's available. Thanks.
Thank you. Does approval of the timesheet hours also approve the absence request, or does the absence have to be approved first?
I think if you approve the timesheet and the absences are on there, it will pass through. And if the absence request is approved, it will land on the timesheet and will get processed that way. You don't have to take any additional action. So if you submit that absence request, you're in good shape.
All right, Karen said, when delegating, is it the review time task, the appropriate task for delegating approval?
Will you read that one more time? I got tripped
Yeah.
up a little.
When delegating, is it
Uh-huh.
the review time task, the appropriate task for delegating approval?
I would think it's called approved time, not review time, but I will have to confirm that Ghana, do you remember that from the job aid? If the task to
No.
approve time is approved time, if you guys look at the job aid for approving time, whatever task is referenced in that job aid, that's the task you're going to want to delegate if you're trying to let somebody else approve timesheets on your behalf.
Okay. Laura says that the emails that she used were about example for expense report. She can't tell the difference between a travel expense versus a small purchase charge card expense versus an invoice based on the email. We have 6 gift managers who are all getting emails for every expense report, and we are struggling to sift through them to make sure we are approving the correct ones.
Laura, do all 6 of those people need, tell me a little bit more about how you work. You have 6 people who can approve spend on those, but you've broken down the approvals based on the type of work it is. Do I understand that?
Sort of. So when it came to travel, the dean was the one who was the final approver, and now all the gift managers are final approvers. And so any of us can approve travel, which is just sort of a free-for-all that we weren't expecting, and we weren't sure should we have that ability or not. When it comes to the P card, it used to be a specific person who would log in and approve those P card transactions for a particular person, but now all the managers are getting all the P card transactions for approval. So it seems like the hierarchy for P cards for travel approvals just kind of is no longer there from the transition. And we don't know if that's how Workday, that's a change because Workday just processes things differently and we have to work it out internally, or if something's missing.
So
Laura, go ahead.
No, please, LaDonna. I'd much
Okay.
prefer to hear from you.
So Laura, you're accustomed to we've always had multiple budget approvers over certain work tags or indexes in the past, but now it's whoever's on that work tag. If there's 5 people, it's going to go and be routed to all 5 people. So you guys are going to have to monitor and figure out who should approve what, or kind of come up with a way that you know what to approve, because now everything's going to go to all 5 people, and then whoever approves it first, it then will disappear from everybody else's box.
Right. Okay. We weren't sure if that's how Workday worked, or if there was something we needed to configure. Thank you.
Yes. Decisions were made so that now if all budget approvers will now get that index instead of it being just one.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
So that does give additional context into the problem we're trying to solve with identifying what those transactions are. So thank you for that, Laura. That the app admin team can put their creative thinking caps on to see what customization opportunities exist in the alerts that maybe help you with some of that routing. And then you guys can build some mailbox rules if you want, certain approvals to land in your inbox and the others to disappear into the trash can that you don't have to look at. So that I can see how we can make that experience better.
Great. All right. Jennifer says, for those of us involved with hiring graduate student workers, it would be helpful to know which job aids in the hiring process category apply to students rather than non-student employees. If a job aid doesn't specify, should we assume the aid is applicable to graduate students? For instance, terminate employee.
We can try to curate a list, Jennifer, around grad student hiring. That's a great suggestion. And I see Gunna nodding her head, so I know she's putting it on a list.
I am working on actually teams in HR right now. So yes.
Okay, Rochelle says that she has a student that is locked out of her workday to submit time after multiple attempts to submit her hours. Is it possible for Rochelle to submit hours for her, or should she still work on submitting them herself?
I think either one of you could do that. I would like to get the student back into her account. So we're happy to help with that part too. See why she's locked out in the first place. So Rochelle, I don't know if you guys have put in a ticket yet. If not, if you want to do that and then message me directly with the ticket number, I'll hop in there and look and see if we can solve that problem. But it's not too late. So timesheets are due tomorrow at 6. So we've got time to solve this.
Okay, she also had a issue with Workday told her that her hours had not been submitted. She screenshot it and showed that she actually did submit the hours. And then I think when they went in to try to fix that, it locked her out. So I can reach out to her to see if she has that ticket of when she contacted Workday and send it up as a ticket to you guys, or who do you want me to send the ticket to?
Send it to me. I'll help her.
Oh,
And
all
I
right.
suspect so we've learned something. And I don't want to call out a student, but I have a couple names right in the front of my mind where we saw students were putting in hours in our training tenant. So I had one ticket where a student sent in screenshots of hours that were entered, and I hopped over to Workday thinking I'm going to solve this problem and not bug payroll or HR. And I'm looking, and sure enough, I can't find any hours. Well, I pulled Catherine Freiling in. She helped me, and lo and behold, we found out that student entered her hours in the training tenant. And so we're looking to see what additional messaging we can do to folks that we see are logging in, regular students specifically, who are logging in regularly to the training tenant and maybe entering time. We're going to email them and say, hey, let's make sure you're putting those hours in the production environment in the right place. So I suspect maybe your student got caught up in that. And so we're going to try to solve that problem too.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I throw out one thing from the support side? That's why it's always important to get in your screenshot, include the entire screen if you can, including the address bar. That also helps us with troubleshooting. Thanks.
All right. Eliza asks, is it a feature or a bug that when I submit absence requests on behalf of a peer, because she's the admin who handles timesheets and she has the timekeeper security role, the absence seems to automatically be approved without routing to anyone's supervisor?
What do you want it to be? No, I'm just kidding. So that's by design because the timekeeper role comes with that privilege. So that is working as expected.
Sonia asks, why do travel expense reports go to the traveler and then completely bypass that person's supervisor or budget manager now and go to a more central approver? Shouldn't the owner of the index have to approve first?
But Donnie, you want to take that one?
Sure. So I'm trying to understand. So right now we do have where expense reports do not go to the managers, but they do. If you submit on behalf of an employee, it will go to the employee first, and then it will go to the designated work tag. However, we are trying to fix something because let's see. Otherwise, it should be going to the budget approver, not the supervisor on the expense report side.
And the budget approver in that context, LaDonna, right, is whoever is the manager on the designated.
The designated
work tag.
manager. Yep.
Thank
So
you.
it looks like it's not routing, but what it's taking is it's taking the spend authorization routing and it's not going to the expense owner, but that's only on certain reports, but we're getting it fixed. We had a meeting today, so that will be fixed shortly.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Josephine says that she and a few other admin are having trouble with one-time payments. For those of us who have done one, they said we can only do a one-time payment for immediate staff, but we need to get these students paid. What should we do? Is this a Workday issue or should we reach out to student employment?
So as Workday is configured now and designed, the one-time payment, you can initiate that one-time payment task, and the folks, the staffers that you can select from are the staffers that are in your org. And if they sit outside your org, they're not a choice. We are trying to come up with alternatives to open that up, recognizing that lots of folks on campus are putting in one-time payments for students, faculty, staff who sit outside their org. In the meantime, I'm looking to see, I think you could submit a ticket and we can get you some help with that. Or you can reach out to whomever is the manager of the supervisory org that the person you're trying to pay is in and ask them to enter it on your behalf. Those are the two options right now.
All right. Kitty asks if an employee will be retiring but taking leave prior to the retirement date, how can we remove their security roles and approvals? Is this done via the offboarding process? Can security roles be assigned temporarily to another position?
I see you asking this, Kitty. So when we have an employee separating upon or moving to another position, job within the university, the security team does get alerted. A lot of those rights are deprovisioned programmatically or automatically. And then we do get alerts so that we can take subsequent actions. The assigning roles temporarily, that's a request. And yes, we can do that as long as the supervisor approves. That's no problem. That's a security request. And I'm just making sure I answer it fully. How can we remove their security roles and approvals? So that happens programmatically. That what doesn't happen is putting somebody back in. So if what we were just talking about with Sonia a second ago, if you were listed as a manager on a designated or gift or grant, and you leave, we're getting an alert. Someone in finance and security is getting alert that we don't have a manager in that slot, and we need to find out who that is. So that part is not automatic, but taking you off it is. We'll probably see what, as time goes on, what automation and refinement we can bring to some of that role reassignment. So that way we don't want our transactions that are routing to approvers to get held up when there's a vacancy or a turnover. So I know we need to make that a little better, optimize that business process, but that's on the enhancement list, and we're still working from the break fix list. You had a follow-up, Kitty?
No, I hit the wrong button.
Okay.
All right. Sharon says that under her profile, her work location is the wrong building. How can she update that?
I'm not sure you can update that yourself, Sharon. I think that might be restricted. You can put it. Go ahead. Oh, I thought maybe someone was hopping in. We are doing a location cleanup project right now, so that might get cleaned up as part of that project. But if you put a ticket in, that can be fixed by the team as well.
All right. And it looks like LaDonna already answered our next question in the chat about business meals. Eliza has dozens of questions about grants and awards that she's saving for whenever we get to start training about grants. For now, any chance y'all can describe how the grant hierarchy is structured and why it's a different hierarchy than the cost center hierarchy or the organization hierarchy. Also, it's difficult to view the org trees because it either shows me the bottom level, the leaf, with no way to scroll up, or it takes me to the very top of the org tree, and then I have to click a lot of trial and error to locate which branches my desires leaves on. Leaves are on. That was a long one. I don't know if you got all that, Corinne.
Yeah, so I am not going to get into grant hierarchy because I don't know that, but I will give a plug for grants training, right? We're starting that very soon. Erin, do you want to repeat what we shared with CDSP this afternoon? That's coming when?
I don't have the calendar in front of me. If Ghana or Lauren has it in front of them, I think it might be next week. I know Grants was waiting on some data to be loaded in before they could start that training. We've had some on the calendar that we had to take off while we waited for that, but I think it's next week, and I see Ghana nodding. So Ghana, do you have the date?
It's going to be Monday of next. Wait a minute. No, what? Let me mute.
All right, Donna's going to grab that date for us. But like I said, we're about to put a bunch of trainings and office hours on the events calendar. So that will be available very soon.
Okay, and the second part, the org trees. When you are on your profile and you look at team, is that what you're talking about? The boxes that look like a Visio diagram, the org tree, the org chart?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, it's difficult to view because it either shows me the bottom level with no way to scroll up.
Or I guess not the people view, but like when I go to cost center hierarchy.
Oh, very good. We'll have to take a look at that. I don't think I've ever looked at that functionality, so I don't have a good answer or advice for that one to see, a recommendation on making that navigation a little easier, or if there's a report that makes the presentation easier to consume. I think we need to note that one, team, and try to relate that to the user experience.
I'm happy to submit a ticket about it with screenshots, if that helps.
That'd be great. Thank you.
I will do that.
All right. And Ghana, is it the 4th, August 4th? Does that sound right for grants? Yep. Okay. So August 4th from 10 to 11. So we'll be getting that loaded in soon. All right. Samantha said she might have missed this, but will the recording of this be sent out to everyone if we miss the first few bits? Yes. So we will upload this recording. We will put it in the digest and we'll put it in the next Workday Watch. So it will be available. All right, next question. I requested security roles for my position and it was approved by my supervisor last week. How long does it take for access to be granted?
Oh, that's kind of a moving target, parent. We can take a look. We'll send that to security admin. So it goes before it gets to team IT to provision. The functional offices have to approve that, whether it's finance or HR or payroll, budget, whomever. And sometimes they have to do some research to figure out what specific role to give, or maybe there's a nuance with making that decision. So it could be immediately, that we get that request and it's clicked through the approval, or there may need to be some research done. Either way, we'll find out where your request is and follow up so you understand and have a better idea of what's going on there.
All right, next question. I'm an operational non-exempt salaried employee. If my manager does not approve my time submission for hours worked, will this mess up my pay? My manager is listed incorrectly. It shows my manager as the new dean. And my manager said everyone in CDSP is currently listed under the dean. I don't think he has time to approve everyone's time submissions.
So I'll tackle this in a couple of things. One, we're working to get that cleaned up from a supervisory org, but we've also have been moving any submitted timesheets through. So that way it won't impact your pay, the super org cleanup. We wanted to make sure that, that wasn't getting in the way of paychecks. So just like they did in Banner, we had some super approval opportunities to move those through the process. And so you won't be we won't keep you from getting paid for now. That's a temporary compromise. We are, from an internal controls perspective, it's very important that the supervisor approve time before we pay team members. And so I suspect that we'll turn that super approval mass off after we get on the other side of the soup board cleanup. So it's deliberate at this point. And we'll communicate that too as well, give people plenty of notice. And that way, if after we think we're done cleaning up, if you're like, this is still not right, you have an opportunity to submit a ticket, we'll get that addressed. So I expect that's going to be at least through the end of hypercare, which is the end of August, that we're still doing some of that cleanup work.
All right, and there's a part 2 to her question. Do we know when we might be able to view the info we could see in the labor and benefit reports and click?
So there are some labor and benefits reports in Workday. I don't know if we have those on our reporting crosswalk team that relate that labor and benefits report and click to what some of those are named in Workday. I think we also made a custom report that has some of that. So we can check there, but that data is available in Workday now. So we should be able to get it in reporting. If you try to run one of those reports from the crosswalk and you get tripped up because of security, put a request in and we'll fix that too.
All right, and Karen says that she has had a student employee EPAF not transfer over to Workday. The student needs to submit their timesheet. What can she do?
That's a ticket, Karen. So, and if you've already put a ticket in, send me the number and I'll follow up on it. We want to make sure our students are getting paid. So we've got to make sure they exist in Workday and they're hired and they have a job, a position to go into, and that they've been put in that position. And so we can walk that through. I'll work with the team to take a look at that. And if we need to ask UHR or payroll to tag in and help us, we'll do that. But happy to have the project, IT project team look at that first.
All right. I think
Thanks for sharing that report.
Yes. I think we've reached the end of our questions. Does anyone else want to submit a question or come off mute and ask one?
How are you guys doing with the system? We getting any work done? Erin, you want to stop sharing so I can look at people?
Sure.
Thanks.
See a thumbs up from Elizabeth, so
Hey,
Amelia says she's surviving.
Okay. Still waiting for access. Nick, are you here? Can we follow up on the folks who put security questions in chat? Got a couple waiting for access. Any of our colleagues from UHR or finance have any insight as to why some access requests are taking longer than others? I think that would be a benefit to share that too directly from you guys. Alrighty then.
Yeah.
Okay, Erin.
I was going to say, from a UHR standpoint, the people who do approve that security are not on the call, I don't believe. So they can't speak to that, because I did security stuff in Banner, but not in Workday. So I can't speak to that, unfortunately.
Thank you.
And Colleen says that she appreciates that the job aids say which security roles are needed. So, so that's good just to note, Colleen, if others didn't realize that. But the job aids at the top, they do have what security role is needed to perform those actions. So you can find those there.
We're also going to be putting out some guidance and instruction on how you can see easily what roles you have. And then also for those who have elevated access, how they can see what roles other people have. And security is going to be a whole tribe effort here as we try to refine this and keep the engine moving.
So Beth asked what role is needed to access the William & Mary gross pay and benefits report.
I don't know that off the top of my head. We can look at that and put it out in the, maybe that's something we can do in the reporting crosswalk. Even if change management team, even if we start out and most of that column is blank, like as we're looking them up, we can put that in there or give guidance on how to look at that in Workday to know what roles are required. Teresa, go ahead.
I was going to say with William & Mary gross pay and benefits right now, we're still working on that report. It's almost there. We're pretty close to getting it to do what it needs to do. And so then I guess it will be made available more broadly, I'm assuming. So.
Thank you.
Lots of people talking about hiring graduate students and getting training for student employment. So Vanessa asked if we can prioritize a job aid for hiring graduate students. So yes, thank you for this feedback. We know that people have been waiting for that for quite some time, and that student employment training is coming soon.
Erin, for those that are looking for the student training, if they can drop in the chat if it's a regular GA for the grad students or if it's a postdoc student, because that does go into two separate areas. So I just want to make sure that
Vanessa, do you want to come off mute and tell us what kind of graduate students you're hiring for?
Sure. I have probably between 40 and 50 graduate students to put on payroll starting August 25th. Normally, I would have been about 80% done with the EPAFs by now. I've done none. And some of the faculty haven't been able to give me the work tags that they want to charge because they can't see their budgets yet for their grants in Workday. So it's like a double cascading problem. I worked really hard to get all of the students on payroll to go through the summer because I knew that this would happen, but I really didn't think it would take the entire month of July to even get a training. And I mean, 40, 50, 60. Now they've talked about maybe a bulk upload from a spreadsheet.
Yes.
That's great, but tell me what information you want on the spreadsheet so I can start compiling it.
We have that, Vanessa. We can publish that. We've been working with.
I had put in a work order for that and had not gotten that answered back.
Thank you. We'll put that out more broadly. We do have a collaboration space with some folks from the dean's offices of each of our schools where we've shared some of that information. But hearing what you're saying, I can relate that and appreciate the amount of work that you have. And so I'll work with the team to get some of that information out more broadly. And I saw Dawn's hand, but before we come off mute, I want to answer Lynette's question about personal information in Workday. So there's varying levels of personal information visibility. So you can see all your stuff. Your manager can see some of it. UHR can see all of it, but really other people can't see much. So nobody can see your birthday. Nobody can see your home address, just your work address. And so based on what roles someone may have in the system, what they're able to see is based on that role, just like Banner. Professional profile. If that's a term, I'm not sure what that is referring to.
Well, it's asking for our education, history, and summary, like kind of like our experience, kind of like a LinkedIn experience type of thing that's on there. And I just was wondering who sees that.
I'll have to look that up to see how it's configured right now. I'm not sure we've put that out broadly anywhere, so it would be whatever Workday's default configuration is. I don't remember any meeting where that was discussed, by HR or in the configuration team. So we'll have to look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Kitty had a question about upload replacement process and when we will have training aids and documentation on this.
So that would be an EIB for mass loading transactions. I don't know. I'm looking to see who's on the call to see who I can call out to help me get an answer there. And I'm not coming up with a name of timing as to when we think we're gonna have training and more information available. For now, the core project team is doing a lot of that, and part of that is because the EIB, Enterprise Interface Builder, process is very nuanced, and so we're building those templates and some samples that we can use to extend that functionality to other people. And so that's why we haven't published that functionality broadly now. If you're waiting on work, Kitty, like I know that we move money a lot, you can go ahead and put in a ticket, and I will recommend that finance use you as a test case. Our IT biz team, we know that we use that a lot for billing back to departments and moving money around. And maybe we can help, work with them to move that forward for everybody.
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anyone. Dawn, did you already answer Dawn's? No.
I didn't. I'm pretty sure E-Verify is an Equifax tool. So we have an integration to support E-Verify. I know the team was working on that some this week to make sure that was streamlined within Workday. That was one that we had to punt a little bit later in the project to get that going, just because integration resources were focused on other functionality. But yes, it's a service that we subscribe to, and we're surfacing that within the Workday application, that Connect. It's like we call it E-Verify Connect, I'm pretty sure.
Can I jump in? I think it might be related to I-9. So we have students coming in who's going to be so I-9, we are not doing it in Workday, or we are doing it in Workday?
We will be doing it in Workday. I'm not 100% sure we're live with that right now. I think we are. But that E-Verify, where we used to go to a separate website and have to do the E-Verify outside of Banner, now there's a Workday Connect. And the team was working on it this week. I don't know if we made it live or not, so we can follow up on that. But it'll essentially have the same look and feel. You'll just get to it within Workday now. And we definitely will have that up before we're onboarding all of those new student employees and adjuncts in a couple weeks.
Okay. Can I ask a follow-up to that?
Sure.
Thank you. It was my understanding that the students or the new faculty that are being onboarded can upload their own documentation, passports, I-95 or I-94s, etc. And then, but that was in Workday in E-Verify, and that would streamline the process. And
that's my understanding too.
Okay, yeah, because that goes hand in hand with student employment.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
And Dawn had another question about help tickets. So if help ticket request is canceled as resolved, but this situation is still unsolved, from her view, should we submit a new ticket, or can we recall or reactivate a ticket?
Just by replying, it should reactivate. I will say that we caught a glitch in the system earlier this week where somebody had messaged to me that a student's ticket was closed without the issue actually being resolved. And I did some investigation with our support manager, Brian, and we found that the ticketing solution was configured to auto resolve cases in 2 days, which we've had in our ticketing system forever. But it's not supposed to do that if somebody writes back and was like, dude, it's not fixed. And so that setting was adjusted. And so now it will work as we intended, where if we mark it as resolved, if you reply within 2 days, it'll move it back to the open status or reopened. And if you don't reply within 2 days, it will move from resolved to closed. So that wasn't working right. So if you replied to a ticket and it got closed anyways, I promise we weren't dissing you on purpose. That was an accident.
Is that 2 business days, or is that like 48 hours?
I think it was 48 hours. I'm not sure if it, I'm pretty sure it didn't differentiate business days, but I can go back and look at that, Dawn. Assume 2 days, 48 hours.
So a Friday ticket would be canceled by Monday.
If we mark it closed on Friday night, yes, it'll probably be closed on Sunday.
Okay.
And if that's the case, oh, go ahead.
If we mark it resolved, it 2 days later, it will move to closed.
Yep.
That is the automated process. If we close it right away, then it's just closed.
Sorry if I said the wrong word, but in her use case, her example, if we mark it resolved Friday night, it'll close Sunday night. Yes. Right? Brian?
Yeah, I think it's business days, but I haven't been able to confirm that
better.
yet. I think, but I haven't been able to confirm that.
Great.
Working on that part.
Okay, no problem.
Andrew, did you have something?
I was going to provide a more clarification. I don't know if it will help, but if your ticket is resolved within 2 days, it'll automatically close. From closure, I think you then have 3 days to respond, and it will reopen that ticket. Is that right, Brian?
So I'm going to be honest with you, that's a little confusing too.
Okay.
So the setting actually says 3 days of completion or cancellation. So the statuses are resolved and closed. So I'm not sure if completion means which term that means, but it looks like if your ticket was canceled and you respond, it will reopen. I will try to get some clarification on that.
Thanks, team. And I will remind the group that not only did we put in a new ERP for this Workday, but we also put in a new ticketing system. So Team IT is balancing 2 new enterprise applications. Super fun times over here. And we started that project and had a full enterprise solution up and working to receive those requests in about 4 weeks. So it was some miracle work. Darn it, I shouldn't have said that, because now when a department wants some big software, I'm going to say it's impossible, and you're going to say, well, you did a ticketing system in 4 weeks. Dang it. I'm just teasing. What else we have? Ghana, go ahead.
I just wanted, in case somebody's not following the chat, student hiring training is August 5th and 6th. I put the dates in the chat. It is a 2-part series, just to let everyone know. It will be recorded and it is virtual.
Thank you.
And is there any cap on that, Ghana, or is it just open to as many people?
Open to as many people.
Great. We had a nice positivity moment in the chat from Shanae. So a shout out to LaDonna and Melissa. I agree. They're wonderful. So let's see, Dawn. Student hiring. All right. Eliza said, is the format of preferred names on the list of things to review. It is weird to show up as Elizabeth Trost, Eliza Trost. This is much more important for people for whom it's important that their legal name not show up everywhere.
It is on our list, and we're working on that now.
Right.
So what Eliza means is when you log in on your profile, you'll see your name, your legal name, and then you have a preferred name. And we're taking a look at whether that's necessary, if it impedes any business processes or practice, if we configure that to just show the preferred name.
All right. Stephanie wants to know who she can talk to gain information about invoicing. Her office creates invoices. Her understanding is this should be done through Workday now.
So if you were used to doing the specific task you're talking about in by WM, that stays around. We kept it. And so I would think that I'm not sure if you're talking about invoicing, like moving money between departments at the university, or if it's an invoice you're receiving from a vendor. So that's why I introduced the by WM piece. I see you came off mute. You want to give me more information?
Yes, I'm with the office. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
I'm with the Office of the Arts, and we are invoicing, we call them external vendors who are renting our facility. We have been creating our own independent invoices invoices and mailing them, and we receive deposits, and I deposit them into our revenue index. And that's sort of how we were going to continue, but someone told me that it should shift to the Workday platform. And I just want to make sure we're above board and doing things the correct way.
Catherine, do you have a comment on that?
I was just going to ask Stephanie, have you been in touch with Ivan about this?
No, I do not know that name. No, I have not.
Okay.
All right.
I think that may be a connection to make. I will reach out to him. He's our bursar, and I thought that he was looking into a solution for folks who need to send invoices out.
So with Workday came some new functionality called customer accounts, and that is the software configuration features in Workday that hopefully help with some of those processes and practices. And that landed in the bursar's office. I haven't got the short straw on that one, and so expanding beyond just our student accounts running through the bursar's office, but also some of those other external accounts. Thank you, Catherine, for doing that. Connecting those dots. And Brian confirmed it is calendar days, not business days. So, and we can look at that too. Like maybe Brian, in our practices, we're not resolving cases on Friday. I don't know. We can think about that.
All right. Lynette asks if new incoming GAs have access to Workday yet.
New incoming GAs have, it depends where they are in the process. So if they've been hired and they're exist in Workday as employees, they should. We did have some sync issues between systems getting them able to log in. But if you search them in Workday and they come up as an employee, then they should be able to log in. If they can't, we can go ahead and put in a ticket, but that's a good way. If you search for them in Workday and you don't find them yet, that means they're not fully processed through the hiring process.
All right, Shanae said if we have some local funds that do not show up in Workday for us and it's not listed in the crosswalk banner index file, should we submit help tickets, or would our higher administration, like the dean's office support staff, know this information?
Have some local funds that do not show up in Workday for us and solace in the crosswalk. I would submit a ticket. I'm not sure. That might be a problem we have to solve in a different way.
Okay, just to clarify, it's like one of those types of funds that never had like a 2W or anything. It was just like a numeric index back then. So it was kind of odd anyways. So I don't know where to find it. And I'm not sure and I looked up the actual like name of that fund as well, but so just submit a ticket.
I would, and we may get guidance that it's something totally different, or was, they did something with it between finance and budget office. We might have to look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Shanae, just make sure you put in there like all the details you can, so when I'm looking, I can try to find it.
Perfect, thank you.
Appreciate you.
Erin, I can take one or two more, and then I need to get to an appointment, but happy to do another one of these.
Well, we only have one more. So Bella asks, will the prefix mix MX be added into the list of choices under personal information?
I'm not aware that there's an open thread to change what the prefixes are, but it's certainly something we're happy to consider as part of our change control. So if you want to document that as a ticket, I will route it to the right team to start looking at that.
All right, and that's all of our questions.
Team, I'm going to bounce pretty fast. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.